Hey, what's up, guys? It is Rick, and it is Friday night. And I'm going to give you a little disclosure. I'm in the great state of Florida, the capital lightning of the world, and I got about 60-mile-an-hour winds and lightning coming from every direction. So if it gets cut off, just hang on. I'll try to get it back on. It ain't me. It was violent yesterday, and it's like flash bulbs going off, man. So September's a rough month in Florida. A lot of storms, hurricanes, all sorts of stuff. But you guys are in the right place. Today, we are going to talk about the list that's going to earn you 25 grand. And I've done this not only once, twice. I've probably done it 200 times plus. So I've already proven the theory. If you do exactly what I tell you, it will do amazing. So I'm going to take about 15 minutes to go ahead and teach you guys. A lot of you guys probably know exactly what it is, but I'm going to simplify it. And the idea is you can walk out with a plan by the end of this to have a way to implement a 25K strategy just on one deal. After that, I'm going to jump on the lives because I see a lot of people taking advantage of it. I appreciate it. So I see Kyra, Kia, Revion, Nicholas, Kay, Cole, and there's a whole nother like 2 or 3 lines. So I appreciate you. So if you guys hold tight, whatever, I will take you in the order as long as you're up there. I promise you. So if you guys are brand new to this channel, my name is Rick, and I am the Rick and Flip with Rick. You guys know my son. You probably saw him bouncing around on some videos. We've been working all day together, so fun stuff. So awesome. So I see some people have some deals they want to talk about. It's going to be a great one today for you. So if you guys are brand new, you've never been here before, do me a favor, go over to freewholesaling.com. It will answer 98% of your questions. It's the most viewed course out there. Over 50,000 people currently use it today. And me and Zach teach you how to get up and running in wholesaling. Just cut to the skinny part of it, get you to your first 100 grand, and then it's up to you where you want to kind of go from there. So as we go through this, if you could do me a favor, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Put your comments in there. I love to answer the questions. Not everybody wants to go on video, and I get that. And do me a favor, man, smash that like button, and let's get this thing rolling. So without further ado, let's get pumped up, man. It's Friday. It's getting ready to pour. Let's kick it on. Let's get the energy up, and let's dive into that.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and get the guy. Go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
See, that's the energy I'm talking about, guys. That's what I want you guys to do. And let's bring it. So without further ado, let me roll into my presentation because I want to get, let's face it, dude, you guys are really here just to talk to me. But I got to teach you a little bit of something. So sit back. I promise you I'll be brief on this one, and I'll get to you. So just don't fall asleep. Don't start a football game without me because I want to be there, and we'll go from there. So listen, you already know what my secret is. If you guys have spent any amount of time with me, you know exactly what it is. It's probates, okay? It's nothing more than the legal process which assets of a deceased person are properly distributed with their heirs and beneficiaries through a court-appointed authorization. That's it. So when someone dies and they own an asset like a car, a boat, a house, a bank account, you've got to understand that deceased person cannot sign anymore. So there has to be a process that we call probate, which you go through the legal system, and that's how it works. I'm here to tell you, most people have no idea how probate works. They massively complicate it, and most people get scared about it. So my biggest secret on probates is I didn't do it for the first 7 years of being a wholesaler. In fact, I found it out by accident. And what happened is I sat down with my CPA when I was doing my taxes, and he told me to find 2 or 3 more deals just like that because they were so profitable. And that's when I go, well, they were probates. I don't know how to get them. And he's like, go figure it out. So I went on a journey and I found out exactly how to do probates. I'm here to tell you guys, people make stuff so complicated. Honestly, if you would just go down to your probate court and spend 20, 30 minutes and just talk to them, they're actually happy to educate you on the process. But most people don't want to take the time to do it. People want it spoon-fed to them. And here's the challenge with me. I understand probates. I love them. And I'm going to teach you the mechanics of them. The problem is there's 3,500 plus different counties, and every county has a different process for probates. It's impossible for me to personally navigate you through unless you're in like my markets, which I operate. So the cool thing about probates is they're very hard to scale because of every county being different. The good news is not being able to scale, it means one person can't dominate the country with it. It's a very localized market. So today I'm just going to go through the basics, show you what probates are and how to get started, and then I'm going to roll into questions. If you guys have questions in regards to probate, I'd love to take those, but really anything with wholesaling, I'm happy to answer it, man. Like I love doing this stuff. So why I like probate so much, most of them are going to have what we call deferred maintenance. So that means, keep in mind, if you've ever had an elderly family member, when they get towards the end of their life, their priority is not fixing up the house. They took such great pride in taking care of the house. And when you get old and your health declines, you just want to spend time with your family. And there's a reason why most of these properties have what we call deferred maintenance. Okay. They need painting. They need new siding, the whole 9 yards. They need usually massive updating. Okay. Why are these perfect for rehabbers and fix and flip guys? Because they love these types of projects. Okay. One of my favorite things about these probates and why it's so advantageous as a wholesaler is they're vacant. A majority of the ones I deal with, at least 70 to 75% of them, are vacant. And guys, with a vacant property, it opens up to a whole world of how to market it, how to bring in potential buyers. You don't have the typical obstacles we have in a traditional wholesale deal. That's why I've always loved probates. They're really easy to show. And these properties, I can create multiple bidding wars even in a down market because of the ease of access to the property. Okay. Now, the other thing why I like probates is most of them need cash. Most of them are not going to qualify for your traditional mortgages, your FHA, VA, because they're outdated. Maybe they got jealousy windows. Maybe they've got window units and they want central AC. Maybe they've just got such deferred maintenance they need fixed. So that's why they are 100% perfect for wholesalers, like hands down the best. So here's the key part of it. I summed this all up in one because I want to get through this and help you guys as much as possible. How do I start probates? If you follow me 1 through 5 here, by the end of this live, you can jump in and do it yourself, although they might not be open. Okay. The first step you always want to do is go to your state statutes and familiarize yourself with probates in your state. Why do I say this? Most states, you can view them online. You just search probates and you look at all these statutes they have in place. They'll tell you from start to finish someone has to apply for a petition for a probate. They'll give you definitions of what the petitioner is, the executor. The executor is the person who's in charge of carrying out the last wishes of the will. And then the heirs are going to be the beneficiary. Keep in mind the personal representative or the executor. A lot of times they are the beneficiary as well. So why I want you to familiarize yourself is because every state's a little bit different. There's some wacky states out there, but for the most part, states follow 3 different lines in probates. You'll see when you go into them, there's only like 3 ways that states can break them up, and most of yours are going to fall in that particular area. Okay. So get to know the process. You'll get more respect from your local probate court or any title or attorney companies that you deal with. Okay. The next thing you do is you connect with your title company and or probate lawyer for a meeting about probates. Now, start with the title company. It's 100% free. And a lot of title companies are in or associated with lawyers, and a lot of them work with probate lawyers. So most probate lawyers will sit down with you like 10, 15 minutes, but please don't waste their time because it's really bad business. So I like to work with a title company because they'll take an hour and walk you through what you need to accomplish to do a probate, okay? And what you're trying to do is make sure your title company is comfortable doing them and you have access to a lawyer when you need them. At some point, almost guaranteed, if you concentrate on probates, you will need help from a probate lawyer to push some of the stuff through. So you don't have to do it instantly, but you definitely want to get it prepared and out of the way and ready to go. Okay. Number 3, you are now prepared to go ahead and dive in. And this is it. Go to your local county probate court and get the leads. Okay. I said, go to your local probate county court and go get the leads. All leads derive at the courthouse and then they disseminate from there. Now, if you have the ability to get those leads online and you understand how to do it, then that's great. Sometimes you have to pay like a business application fee and you can do it like that. But some of them, I still have to physically send somebody to the courthouse to pick them up. I personally think it's my favorite way because I have very little competition when that happens and it's much easier. Also, if you're new to probates, this is a great time to visit your probate court and ask questions. Keep in mind, they have staff on there full time, there for the public to answer questions. It's up to you if you're going to take advantage of it. Okay. So now we've done all our research. We've connected with our title and our probate lawyer. Now we've gone out, we've gathered the leads. Now you guys know the deal. When you go to your courthouse, they might give you some resistance. Come up with excuses. My favorite is I can only give you one probate at a time. What's the person you're looking for? Obviously, you don't know the person's name because you're trying to get the entire docket, which is an entire list. Okay. And you got to keep asking them nicely several different ways. The best way to beat resistance is overcome it with persistence. End of story. If you just take no and you're going to tuck your tail out of the courthouse, you're probably got no business doing probates anyway. You are going to have to go in there nicely and explain, I need to get these leads. Can you help me get them? They have them organized. There's no way they just have like random cards all around the courthouse. They have a computer system and they're organized. Okay. You're just asking for access to it. You have the right as a tax-paying citizen. You just got to find the right person that's going to give them to you. And I will tell you this, the kinder you are to the people, the more you'll get in the long run. You just have to be persistent. Okay. So then you have to pick your marketing method. In my opinion, there's only 3 ways to market to probates. I've been doing this a long, long time, guys. I've tried every method in the world. Okay. Mailing a good old-fashioned letter, and notice I didn't say postcard, works. You're like, oh, Rick, mail, that's expensive. That's hard. It's slow. It's cheap. You're only talking about 30 to 50 leads a month. You can do them in the comfort of your own home. You can even hand address the envelope. Go over to freewholesaling.com. I have a probate letter template all ready for you. I want you to adjust it and personalize it so we all don't send out the same letters. Okay? A letter is key. 8.5 by 11, 14 font print, white paper, black ink. That simple. Okay? They're cheap, guys. Send them out and they work. Like sometimes people just like letters because it's less intrusive. You only need one deal. Guys, 50 letters would cost you what, $25 to send out? It's not a lot of money. Okay? The next one is you do a cold call. I like to call a cold call and turn it into a warm call because you got to be nice on these. So once you get the probate information, you can skip trace and get their phone number, go to truepeoplesearch.com, get the person's information and just call them. And just, I don't say, hey, listen, I know the house is in probate. I just say, listen, do you have any interest in selling this house at 123 USA Street? And I shut up. That's it. If there's interest, I let them talk as much as possible. Okay. The next one that works pretty well too are just good old fashioned sticky notes. And I actually do the sticky note on the property that is part of the probate that someone's passed away on it. Don't put the sticky note on the petitioner's door, the executor's door or anything like that. You want to place it on that property. Why? Because somebody constantly keeps going by and checking on that property. So we've hit the mailbox, we've hit the phone, and we've hit the front door. So we talked about the bull method yesterday. I held this one off on purpose so I could hand explain the bull method for doing probates. Guys, it works. I will repackage this so you guys get it in a nice summed up version and put it in the freewholesaling.com. These are the only 3 ways, in my opinion, that you can effectively market to a probate. I've tried every other which way. And guys, the last one is on your letter, you're going to have a phone call. And then when you do the sticky notes or you leave a message on the voicemail, make sure you answer the phone when they call you back. If it goes to voicemail, most of these people are calling you like during daylight hours, so it's not that hard to do. If you answer the phone live, you will separate yourself from all the other competition because nobody answers their phone in real estate anymore. I don't know why. And like even some realtors struggle to answer their phone. It drives me nuts. It's a pet peeve. But I've noticed when we answer the phones live, our success rate goes through the roof because if they're calling on 5 different types of, say there's 3 wholesalers and 2 realtors, and say they've gotten to the 4th one and they're calling you and you're the only one to answer the phone, they're actually shocked. And it's a good sign. And that's what I want you to do. Because if they leave 5 people a message, 5 people are going to try to call back and then you're playing phone tag. So when we get to the phone calls, okay, as I said, answer them live. You got to learn to be extremely patient during probate. You cannot run these sellers over. They've got a lot to deal with and you can't bully them around. So a lot of wholesalers like to push them around. If anything, you got to slow down, okay? Use the 80-20 rule. Meaning you talk 20% of the time, they talk 80% of the time. God gave you 1 mouth and 2 ears. Take the hint and use it, okay? This one's critical, the next one. I'm giving all away my core secrets here, but I give it away for free anyway. So don't discuss price on the first call. You know why? Because all your competition's going to try to do that, and it freaks people out in probate. Most people in probate, if you genuinely will help them out, they know they've got to give you a fair price. So if you attack price on the first thing and you try one of these 70% rules, like all these gurus are teaching, I guarantee you will be eliminated from their stack, okay? Don't discuss price. Discuss their motivation to sell the property. Just go through the standard qualifications, MCTP, motivation, condition, time frame, and price. It still applies to probate. Sometimes people want to keep the probates for the family. I get it. Find out what they want to do and then help them execute their plan. That's what we do in wholesaling, okay? Keep in mind, it takes 5 or 6 touches before you can get a deal on a probate. How do I know this? I have a ton of data on it. I rarely ever take a probate down on 1 or 2 phone calls. It just doesn't happen. And if you understand, you got to be patient. You got to let them talk. Guys, we're talking about humans. If you've ever had somebody die in your family, it is a painful, grueling experience. Unfortunately, we all have to go through it. So the person with the biggest heart, with the most determination to help their sellers out and the ability to follow through will get the best probate deals. That's why I've done so well in it. And that's why I'm teaching you how to exactly do this. So probates are going to yield you the highest spreads. I get 3 to 4 times the average what I do on an assignment with a probate from what I do on a regular wholesale deal. I want you to understand that, guys. My average probate deal right now is right around $56,000. Okay? That reason alone, if I can teach you how to get one and make 25 grand, you will like, I will show you the light. Okay? You keep doing all your other wholesaling. But if you guys are purposely avoiding probate because you think you're difficult, I did that for my first 7 years and I left so much money on the table, and I don't want you guys to make the same mistake I do. And that is it. So let me take this off. Let me check our comments and let's get jumping into this, man. So let's see here. Okay. With date of... So real quick, while we're on probates, everyone asks, what's the ideal time? How do you deal with a probate that's old? So I will tell you, probates have 2 windows. When somebody first passes away, high activity. Like everyone wants to know what's going on, who's filing. Lawyers start like hunting people down. It's ridiculous. And honestly, this is the norm from the time of death, usually through 3 years. Okay. Once you get to year 4 and no probate's been filed, they tend to fall off the shelf, meaning nobody ever wants to do anything. And I'm going to tell you, once you get by year 5, if you want to take down a deal, say it never got probated, grandma died, and the daughter's running the property and she wants to get rid of it, at that point, you are going to have to bring on a probate attorney and you're going to have to strike a deal with the seller. And those deals work really well, but they do take time because so much time's gone by that you have to go through basically court proceedings to prove everything. You got to prove up the will, you got to prove the heirs, and if nobody comes forward, then the court has to make announcements and see if any other lawyers or cousins or aunts or uncles jump out of the hoop. And you can do those deals, just to understand they usually take some more time. So I've probably got about a half dozen going on right now. I've had one going on 3.5 years. I actually control the property. I have a renter in it. We're just trying to clear title. And I recently got one on my desk. Somebody died 15 years ago. And they're like, can you help me? I can help you, but I'm getting an extreme discount to do all this stuff. Guys, wholesaling always comes down to how much money can you make and how can I minimize my risk? And if you can always answer those two questions, it will tell you to move forward with a deal. If you're just going to use a 70% rule to move forward, you might as well just pack up for the next 2 years because it's not going to work. Instituting a 70% rule to keep you safe is like saying you need to stay in your house and never drive in a car so you never get hit by a car. You guys aren't going to do that. This is the same thing as 70% rule. That rule is taught in the 60s and 70s. And honestly, if someone gives you property at 70%, call me, run with it. You got an amazing deal. But they are less than 3% of the deals I do. It has to be an extenuating circumstance like an extreme probate. I will buy those 40, 50 cents on the dollar all the time. But remember, I'm risking attorney's fees, my skill set, my time to get them done. So here's what you guys have to understand on probates. You just have to go out and find the probates, reach out to the sellers, see if they have interest in selling the property, get it under contract, and then use your title company, use your probate attorneys, find real estate agents that'll help you out if you don't understand the property. Reach out to myself, Zach, or anyone like that, and work with someone. If you have a complicated probate, pair up with somebody and work with them, okay? But it has to work for you, okay? So many times, the biggest problem with probates is the family does not want to pay for the attorney, but they want you to buy your property. And they got to understand they have to cooperate to get that done. There's no way to buy the property without them following through on the probate. So it's important we get that done and we go from there. So without further ado, did I lose? I lost somebody in order here, but Kyrie, you there?
Hey, Rick, what's going on?
Hey man, how's your Friday evening going?
Man, it's going great, man. How was yours?
It's good. So it's a little rainy and lightning, but as long as I'm inside and the internet works, I'm fine, man. What can I help you out with?
I hear that. Hey, man, I've been trying to get on this live with you guys for a long time, man. I've been following you guys for about 2 months now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hold back, man. You come on here, I jump on here. I tell everyone. I'm like, listen, we can do this all night, man. I had some sporty ones on last night, but I'm like, listen, I'm here to help. If people want to complain for 5-10 minutes, at some point I'm just going to cut you off and ask you, like, what are you doing to make this better? So we're all in this together. Dude, I have sat in your shoes. I've been through the fight. I've been there when I was completely dead broke with my entire family looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? I said, like, I think this thing can really work. And I almost quit twice. Those people don't understand. I almost just caved in. Thank God I didn't. Yeah. And to this day, I still have battles. I've been doing meetings all day. We've been training staff, and it's like we got deals that fall apart, new ones that come on. You just throw some more zeros on it.
You gave hope to a lot of people, man, thousands of people. So I'm definitely glad you didn't give up.
You just got to fight it. The problem with our business, Kyrie, is people package it. It's like you just flip properties on the beach, sipping margaritas, dude. That ain't the first 2 years. It's actually, if you ever a busboy at like a busy restaurant or a bar, that's what's like the first 2 years. And it's not a negative thing. It's just like we all have to start somewhere, right, and get going.
Yeah, and I'm at that point now. I kind of went through the whole phase. A couple years ago, I was a realtor, a real estate agent. Didn't really like that aspect of the game, So fast forward a couple years later, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I am now.
Okay.
Wanted to get into the game, so I paid one of those gurus. So unfortunately, I fell for the trick before I even
Hey,
know.
listen. Even if you guys paid a guru, I'm not here to like, dude. I've paid some of the worst gurus in the country,
Yeah,
and part of like why I've done that, I've been doing this 20 years. The reality is, you give me 10 gurus, I'll show you 7 or 8 fraudsters every time, guaranteed. Because guys, one of the secrets to like gurus where you guys all get spun, you think if somebody charges 5 or 10 grand, boy, they must be incredibly good.
yeah.
Ask them for a peek at their program before you sign up. Try to look behind the curtains. And let me tell you, here's rule number 1. This has come out in the last 2 years. If you have to sign an NDA with someone that's going to teach you in his business, run.
Okay.
Run. There is no business to sign an NDA. That is a scarcity mindset, and that is a broke man or woman that applies that. Somebody was doing that for a while, and they're just setting you up. They're just going to try to sue you down the road. Like, you can't share any of my secrets. Dude, all I do is share secrets. Life doesn't work that way. We have to pass information down to our kids and the next generation. I'm trying to help people out with realtors that really can't help them. That's what we do. I'm not ripping off anyone. If anything, I help everybody out. We get a negative rap in this. So listen, here's how I look at it. If you paid someone, it didn't work out, I know it pisses you off, but in a way it kind of motivates you like, okay, I got to be successful now.
Yeah, and that's what it drove me to do. Essentially, like, so I paid this guy 5 G's, and then it's like I didn't really learn anything. He gave me a bunch of things, and it's like I didn't learn anything about it. But when I found you guys' channel, I learned more with you guys in 2 weeks than I learned with this guy in damn 6 Zoom sessions.
Yeah, because we just cut through the fluff, right? Like, hey, here's this. Here's freewholesaling.com. If you got a problem or a question, hop on 6 days a week. This is what we do. Yeah. Like, bring it. I don't have a boat for you to ride on. I do, but like I don't waste time on that. I'm not taking you out to dinner. I don't do fancy seminars. All that's all hype to get you guys excited to break out your pocketbooks. Guys, I've been through it. I've paid as much as one person $100,000. Wow. Now, I'm not going to say I didn't get value out of it, but it was like some of them are good, some of them are really bad. I've actually gone and met with people and gurus, and after like a day or two, I paid to be there for like 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm out. Like,
yeah.
You don't like, less than I do. And that's when I was young. And it was like, and when I started wholesaling, it was really expensive, 15, 20,000 for the average guy. Now we're down to like 3 to 5 grand. Like, how can the price be going down? Inflation shooting up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So don't look at the 5 grand as like I made a mistake. Listen, life is all about making mistakes and just making progress.
Yeah.
So as long as you're alive and your family's not hurt, I guarantee you, Kyrie, you walked away with a lesson on that 5 grand. Like,
yeah, I did. Big one.
Yeah, and we've all even bought stupid stuff for even a lot more. Like, what the heck did I do that for? So, I don't beat up on people because I've paid gurus probably the most. In all the gurus I've ever done, the problem is in the entry levels where the biggest scams are, and that's the problem. I think 7 to 8 out of 10 influencers in wholesaling are pretty much frauds. I'm just going to say it how it is. Why? Yeah. Because do you know there's entire people that teach seminars on how to massively build a following and coach people? Even, ready for this? Once they've completed 5 deals, they're telling the people this is how you can do it. Now, they'll charge that guy 20 or 30 grand and show you how you'll make at least $10,000 to $30,000 a month coaching. And that's the crap you guys are all getting right now. That's why we have a 95% failure ratio. And I want it to stop. The only way you guys can stop is stop paying these idiots for wholesaling. Wholesaling is not that hard. If you do exactly what we say and you stop filtering on how to do it, you will do very well. And that's the big secret, because everybody gets disappointed after that. You get excited when you pay that 5 grand, right? Like, I'm going to the promised land. And then you get there and it's kind of like, who are you? Like, kind of like, that, like, so like in high school, you had that girl, like she looked really good in the light, and then she gets in the dark and it's kind of like, who are you? Like, are you like, did you got makeup on? You want to put some makeup on or something? I'm like, I'm just saying, And that's the problem. We get so excited we don't ask questions. Nobody asks gurus any pressing questions.
Yeah.
How
And
much
I
revenue do you
feel like,
make? Like, what do you do? Like, I'm telling you, anybody putting on a seminar, I guarantee they're selling you a coaching product because it's the only way you can afford to do it. Those things cost $100,000 to put those things together. You think they're just doing it for free for you? It's crazy. Anyways, what can I help you out with, man? I'm sorry about that, Kai. Don't worry about the $5,000. It's a learning mistake.
all right, no,
Because you only make it once, right?
yeah, I'm over it now. I mean, I learned more with you guys on freewholesaling.com, so I definitely be tuned more into you guys.
And
So,
do me and Zach try to teach you guys anything outside of real estate?
no, I mean,
No. Have
wholesaling.
I ever tried to teach you digital assets?
No,
No. Have I ever forced my choice of religion down your throat?
nah, not at all.
Do I share like my fancy house and my fancy cars?
Nah,
I don't do that. Like, it doesn't help you, Kyrie. Like, it's
Yeah.
stupid. I don't understand it. The minute somebody flashes a Corvette or a Lambo, dude, run, because that is a broke person. Like, if your net worth is based on your car, you broke. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. So I've just watched everyone with all that stuff. Like, I don't care. The most successful people I've ever met in life are like regular Joes. They just lose their ego. And I tell everyone, lose your ego. You'll do amazing things in real estate. So,
yeah, and
okay, go ahead. I'll talk all night, man.
So the help that I need is like, so I've been doing all the free marketing you guys got, the Zillows, the expired listings, and things like that, and I'm in a hot market, so I feel like I'm doing something wrong that's not there yet. So I've been trying to go after this probates, the arrest record with factors, the code violations, the liens, water shut off, and fire damage properties. For one of you guys, make $100,000 type of system type of thing, but go off of these lists. So I'm trying to get my first deal, man. So that's basically where I'm on right now. I've been putting in the work. I know I can definitely, go harder on the phone calls and things like that. But I'm pretty good on the phone, talking with people. I've been down that road already, but I'm just trying to get my first deal, man. I just got married. I'm ready to quit my job, man. I'm on that phase right now in my life.
Awesome, man. So that was kind of a broad statement. So we're going to have to narrow it down to try to get you some help. So how long have you been at this for?
3 months.
Okay. So not terrible. So Kyrie's talking about me and Zach teach you how to focus on government lists. Why? Because number one, they're free. And number two, they typically point towards some mode of motivation. Guys, to get a good wholesale deal, there's got to be some sort of motivating factor, meaning they need to sell the property. They don't want to sell the property. The people that want to sell a property call a realtor. They don't, like wholesalers can't help them. You can't help them unless you want to pay full price and get your butt kicked. So understanding that, you have to disqualify a majority of the people you talk to and find the ones that have a reason to sell. They need to sell. Either way, Rick, I have to sell. The best way to go about it is government lists. So tell me about your code violations. How many have you pulled? And how often are you hitting them?
That's the problem. So I don't know how to put the code violations, but I went down to the courthouse a couple times for the probate in my county. So I went down there a bunch of times, but I have a hard time pulling them. And then DeKalb County, these guys are like, I try to be as kind and try to tell them what I need, but they was telling me that I have to go down there and print out the papers and things like that. And they were trying to charge me probably like $1 a sheet and things like that. I was trying to see if I could pull them online. Is there easier way, like on probates, where I could just market to those type of people to get my first deal?
So they want to charge you per lead?
Per page.
Per page. How many on a page?
$1. Oh, it was 50.
It's not horrible. Like, I'm just so I know Atlanta can be kind of a broad area. Like saying Atlanta is like Miami. Miami's huge. Atlanta's huge. Okay. So have you seen how many probates are within a given month in your market that come up?
No.
Okay. So I work a lot smaller counties. The most probates I've ever had in 1 month is like 68 ever. And that was like record. It's usually in the low 30s. So if I had to pay $1 a page, I might pay $1 or $2. I don't think you're going to have in your county. I don't think you're going to have thousands. It just doesn't work. Probates, it's, you got to understand, a probate is not resulted from everyone who dies in your county. Like, you can't extrapolate numbers like that. So when you go down and talk to like the probate court, this is the stuff, like I sit there and like I just talk to it's usually girls, every now and it's a guy.
Yeah.
I just get the ladies who just give more information, and I ask them on average, how many leads do you get in a month? So if they tell me there's 75, dude, don't argue over $2. It ain't worth it, dude. Just take it and move, or she'll give it to you. It'd be the best $2 you ever spent in your life. If you got to do $1 per lead, that's a different conversation. So find out, because I used to throw a temper tantrum. Like I did that with, what was it? Code violations, one of our counties. To find out it was only like 6 pages. I'm like, I think they charged $5 a page. I go, okay, $30. I do this once every 3 months. Not a bad gig. So don't make your situation worse than it is. Find out how many leads there are, because I've seen some of the biggest counties. I've never seen more than like 150 leads in one county ever for probates. It's just, you got to understand, people have to die with property and then somebody has to petition for the probate. So statistically, if you look at the population of the county, you can work it down. So it's, and I'm in towns of like 150 to 200,000 people, and I'm like 38 is my average. I just know it. Like, the only time it got screwed up is during the pandemic and went to 0 for 8 months. And then all the numbers doubled a year after that. So probates always have to catch up. So remember, sometimes people don't file probate when they don't have the money for it, because you got to pay for a lawyer 9 times out of 10. So the $1 or $2, I wouldn't, if you just got to pay just because they want to cover their copying cost. Yeah. Remember, a page of paper is what, like a nickel? I'm like looking, I'm like, between the toner, what is that, like 15 cents? They have such stupid overhead how they do their department. They're probably still losing money at $1 a page. So don't lose sleep over that. I tell you all the time. The problem is when you guys ask, so if you go to like the building code enforcement department and you ask for the code violation list, they come up with some cockamamie story why they can't do it. It's complicated. And then they tell you, I got to bring in a programmer to get that list customized for you. And it's like $110 an hour. I'm like, dude, just push the print button for me. Like, I'm a pretty smart guy. And so most of these departments try to find ways to have people paid by the hour to customize reports for you. So try not to customize anything and you cut that crap out. And at the end, I get like really nice, but if I can't get anywhere, I'm like, how is a tax-paying citizen supposed to get access to this public information? Like, nicely, and kind of go from there. But like the $1 or $2, dude, that's reasonable, because I have some counties, I've heard $20 to $40 a page. And you can do 5 or 6 pages. That gets a little expensive. But remember, you only need one deal from it. So every time you go like tax delinquency, they always try, what kind of file do you want that in? I'm like, oh God, let me, it's like a password. And if you say an Excel file, they'll charge you like a $300 customization. Just ask them for a CSV file, because that's universal in all software. And they'll give it to you. And then sometimes they charge me $15-$20 for it. And they give me a disposable USB, or you bring them a USB because they don't want to pay for it. So understand these bureaucracies have policies, and they're all losing money. Remember, anything with the government, they take money from us. They don't generate any money for us. So they're terribly inefficient with paperwork. So number 2 is they don't want to do the work for you. Like, let's face it. And number 3, you got to keep, what created this problem is between realtors, wholesalers too, and marketers. They get this information and they resell it on the open market. And that's actually, I don't know if the word's illegal, but it definitely creates a lot of stress in the system. So it's every one of these examples I give you, like we sat today with 4 employees, and like we're in the fight every day like you guys are. Why do I fight for these lists? Because there's so much better than any other paid service I could ever do. And I know that. And I still do paid services because I do a lot of marketing, but I've been doing this 20 years. So it's just, you got to press through it. Like, and just don't overreact when they tell you $1 or $2 a page. I'm like, okay, 50 on it. You're telling me there's 120. So that's $6. Would you like a cashier's check, or would you like, and now, like, we went to the courthouse the other day, they won't take cash.
Wow.
I go, it's like, they won't take, like, we're not allowed to accept cash anymore, which I don't even know if that's legal, but like that doesn't even make sense. I mean, green hardbacks they wouldn't take. Now
Wow.
maybe someone's been stealing the cash and it's an internal problem, but I've learned not to like when they say it, they just say they have a problem with their system. It's not a problem with you or anything like that. So you just got to fight through and collect them all. And then we fight like crazy like that. And then we use a combination of batch and PropStream to get our paid list because a lot of them, we get 10,000 lists. So we go ahead and utilize it under the subscription. And that's how I keep my database full. But man, we fight just like everybody on this live. We fight for those government lists. Why? Because they are deadly. They are live. They are up to date. And if you get that information first and you act upon it, you can get some great deals. I've never stopped in 20 years doing them. And honestly, they're my favorite list, but they only fill up my pipeline so much. So in my pipeline, it only fills up about 35 to 40% of the leads because it's just, dude, this is a volume business. It is volume. But after you start doing it after a while, I always tell you, time and circumstances change for people. And as people, some people have to go through a 1-year process to sell their house all the time.
Yeah.
How fast have you ever moved? You have to think about it, right? Like, do I want to do this? You know, do I want to, like, if I ever, then you got, and then see, now, Kyrie, when you start getting married, you got to go, okay, where are the kids going to go to school?
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys with school these days, but like now it's like a careful decision now. It's like, you got to be really involved with your kids. Don't leave it up to the teachers because the poor teachers, their hands are tied. I don't even blame the teachers. So it's,
All right. So quick question, Rick. I mean,
yes.
I'm trying to get a deal, man. I've been doing it for 3 months, so I'm going in for the next 30 days, man. So
Okay.
probate or code violations would be like my best bet.
Yeah. And then kind of how me and Zach taught yesterday, just doing the bull method. I even taught you how to do probates. Listen, some people respond to a simple letter. And guys, don't freak out when you hear mailing letters to probates. It's very, very minor. It's easy. It's very controllable. It just use my template, change it up a little bit, sign your name in blue ink, hand address the envelope, stick it in the mail, and just be automatic about it. You can do it while you're watching a game, while you're playing with kids, while you're doing a video game. I don't know if you can do that or not. I probably could because I'm so bad at video games. Okay, that's done. And then I'm gonna get their phone number. I'm just gonna reach out and call them. I have to leave them a message, and then I'm gonna drive by the property, stick a sticky note on the door. One of those three is going to hit. Like I don't know which one it is. So you're doing McDonald's, Burger King, and Checkers. Now, I like McDonald's because I know it's consistent, but like it doesn't matter. So if I got all three, I would run to a McDonald's because I just feel like they're the more consistent. And then just make it personal as heck, man. Like don't do all this business structure, make it complicated. So you got to just keep going, man. Like the people are ratcheting up. The good news is less cash buyers are in our market, meaning less people are doing wholesaling than ever. And prices are coming down, but it doesn't matter in wholesaling if prices are going up or down. It doesn't matter. Don't ever try to time this market. It ain't going to work. So you just got to kind of keep pressing. So I would get as much as you can on the government list. You already started with 2. You know, there's a lot more.
Yeah.
And then if you use listrei.com or use the batch account, use your subscription and pull the ones and filter out what you think is going to be the most highly motivated people.
Okay.
And that's it. You always, at some point, like I get it, not everybody has money and you don't need all the software and technology to do it. But the reality is get the government list, fill it up as much as you can. If you can do a paid service, and a lot of these are within $100, it's a much cheaper than hiring an employee. And then here's what I do is I would just add driving for dollars. It is like grossly overlooked, but man, is it effective, dude. Because the driving for dollars, if I have a list of 10,000 people and I go, I'm too good for driving for dollars. And then Kyrie gets in his car in that same area and say he takes 4 hours and gets 300 addresses of problematic properties. Dude, you just cut in line for me in about 2.5 months. Because for me to get through that whole list, cold call everyone, go out and look at the properties and see if there's an issue. I know half the 3/4 of the people aren't even going to be interested in what I have to offer. So you cut straight to the chase type of deal. And I tell you, some of my best deals to this date and this year alone are from driving for dollars. I'm lucky I have a lot of people that help me do it. But guys, I drove for dollars for the first 4 years. Like it was just part of my routine. You can fill up so much stuff with driving for dollars. Now there's incredible apps out there now. You can do it old school with a notepad. If you're old like me, I get like car sick rolling around in this stuff, which is kind of funny if you think about it. But I never thought just stuff like that. It's absolutely crazy, man. It's dude, I could go on all day. The problem is once you get all these lists and stuff, then you have to have the discipline to go through it. So what I like to do with people whenever I used to struggle or I have any of my marketing or acquisition people struggle, I ask them, how many people did you talk today? How many people did you physically visit today? And how many contracts did you write?
Okay.
So I want to look at someone's activity and see if it matches up to what their complaint is. And it's like, so like if I'm going to play a football game, I'm going to watch somebody in practice and see if they're doing the basic drills. They're coming off the ball. They're doing the calisthenics. They're doing everything that's asked. And because the way you practice is the way you're going to perform. And that's how you have to do this. But the whole thing in wholesaling, there's like really no practicing other than role playing. You just got to go out and do it. So don't be the person that sits there and tries to read every book, every manual, every module. You have to go out and take a lot of action. And the more action you'll take, the better you'll get at it. In the beginning, you're not that great at talking to people, but that's okay. You can still do deals. If you sit around and wait till you're perfect talking to one, you'll never do this business. The first 3 deals I did, I thought my teeth were going to fall out. I was shaking so hard. Swear to God. But after a while, it just slowly goes away. You're just like, okay, dude, it's like, why does a guy show up to a UFC fight knowing he's probably going to get the hell beat out of him? And he still does it. I don't understand that to this day. I'm just like, are you crazy fighting this guy? He's trained to do it. It's what he does. If you ever watched that big fight with Usman, it was Alexander, I'm just like, this man is getting beat up for 5 rounds. And the last 31 seconds, he throws the perfect, precise kick. Because the other guy got an ego. He got cock. He had it done. He was going to break every record and go down in infamy. And his ego took over. And sometimes it shows you just got to finish it. So get your activity level up. Because Kyrie, when I talk to you again, then we're going to talk about your activity. Kyrie, how many people did you call today? How many did you do this week? How many have you done this month? And eventually the quantity should match up to your results. And you have to do it that way. But you got to get the list. You got to market it. You got to go out there and get it. And then you got to go out and meet and talk to people. And you got to keep everything going and you can't stop. It's a lot of work. I get it, dude. I did this whole thing by myself for 7 years. My son to this day goes, what'd you do that for, Dad? I go, there was a different world back then, man.
Yeah.
We didn't have all this stuff going on, man. It was like one party. I did convince my wife to quit to help me out, but that had its own challenges with that. So that's another story in another day. But you got to get after it. There's not. You are right. I just think you got to do a lot more of what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay. So the next time I want to talk to you, I want to talk about your activity. Like, okay, how many people are we calling? How many are we reaching? And just kind of look at it as a scorecard. Because in the end, when you look at data, data doesn't lie. It just tells you what you do.
Mm-hmm.
People lie. Data doesn't lie. So when like people go off on a tangent with me, I'm like, how many people did you call today? And they're like, well is not a person you call. I don't want to hear it. Like you're trying to figure a way to come up with an excuse. I want to help you. I'm not charging you. I'm doing my part. You got to go out and do your part. I'm telling you, Kyrie, you are no different than me. Okay. I started this when in my mid 30s, 33, 34. And I tried everything else and I was miserable. And it was rough the first year or two I did it. I had a lot of ups and downs. But all you guys had to do is get a deal or two under your belt and get it going. You have the perfect opportunity, especially rolling in 2023, because the market, whenever there's doubt in the market, people open up to selling. Okay. When people are making a lot of money and rates are low, they don't want to sell. But I've made money in both markets. So like, don't try to time the market. People have been doing this stuff since like the early 1800s. You and me didn't invent this. So go out there and get it. Let's talk next week and look at your activity, okay?
All right, I really appreciate you.
Okay, bud. I appreciate it, man. Okay. Nicholas, you there? I can't hear you, man. You got to unmute yourself. Nicholas! Hey, Nick, I'm coming back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, man. I was almost put you in the back burner there, man. What's going on, man? Where are you calling from?
I'm from Palm Beach.
Palm Beach. Oh my God. I could probably see you right out my window right now, right?
Yeah.
So now
Raining hard
we
here.
we got to talk competition, or you want me to help you out here? Dude, I spend a lot of time in your backyard. I'm actually heading over there in a little bit.
Okay.
What's going on, man? How long you been doing this, and what do you want to talk about?
I've been doing this for about 3 months.
Okay.
I mean, I have a deal. It's a probate deal,
Okay.
and I'm just confused on whether this is even like a deal that I could go forward with.
Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's see how I can help you out with it.
So she
Don't
has
share the address. That's the only thing I'm telling you. Don't share the address publicly, because I can't help you if you throw it out there, because they're going to get inundated. So tell me what's going on with it and what the issue is.
So it doesn't have any problems with it. It's a townhouse, and she's under probate right now in 90 days, and I was confused on like whether I should call her back.
So
And
you
just
said
talk
she's
about it.
going to be out of the probate in 90 days?
Yeah.
Okay. So
In my first call with her, I didn't really build any rapport.
okay.
I just talked about I just talked about the time frame, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Is the house vacant?
Yeah, it's vacant. Yeah.
Okay. Does she have a motivation to sell it? Does she sound like she wants to really sell it?
She was motivated. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any issues with the house? Repairs,
No,
maintenance?
there's no issues. No.
Okay. So here's all you have to do, okay? You haven't done anything wrong. You got to move forward. So I'm in the state of Florida, so I can tell you exactly what to do, okay? In the state of Florida, you do not have to wait till the probate's completed to buy a property that's in probate. Did you hear me on that one? The only reason they say that is because their lawyers tell them that. Why? Because a lawyer wants to sit back and be in control all the way to the end because they can control the billing on it. Okay. Why does a lawyer charge 10 grand for one probate case and then 1,500 for another? Why? Because they can. They can get away with murder. Like, it's just the truth. So when someone like you comes along and says, listen, I can go ahead and buy your property before the probate's even completed, and your seller wants to do that, as long as they are in the state of Florida, they're going to be the PR, the personal representative. So do you know if the person you contacted was the personal representative?
Yeah, she is.
She is, right? That's a yes, right, Nicholas?
Yeah.
Okay. I got to pick up your emotions, man. I just want to shake it to the camera. So here's the deal. If she's the PR, you are talking to the person that can legally enter into a contract with you. That's it. You don't need the lawyer. You don't need anyone else. If she signs an agreement, you sign an agreement, you have a mutually executed agreement. Okay? If you choose to sell it before the probate or after the probate, that's something you negotiate with the seller. Most sellers, the minute they sign the contract, they want to get paid tomorrow and get rid of the property. Why else would they sign the contract, right? Once the contract's signed, if you can do it before the lawyer interferes with you, and the lawyer loves to interfere with you, is you're in control of the deal. If you sit back and let the lawyer call the shots, and sometimes you don't have a choice, he will always tell the seller not to sign the contract because he wants to leave everything wide open for him, and he or she wants to be the lawyer in charge. So I make a habit of beating lawyers fast. Lawyers like to take forever to meet with people and talk to people. I got no problems with lawyers, but I don't need a lawyer to enter into a contract with a PR. So once you enter in that contract with the PR, you just simply ask the PR to give the contract to the lawyer and ask the lawyer to file for a motion to liquidate the property. Yes, you can sell the asset before the probate's over. Now, say she's getting 200 grand, that $200,000 goes into the estate, an estate account. So if it's like the estate of John Smith, they open up a bank account. That's what they do when they have probates. And so when that money goes, it gets puts in there. Why is that advantageous? Because the seller, the PR doesn't have to pay a mortgage. They don't have to pay taxes. Very high in Florida. They don't have to pay insurance. What are we in right now? September, right? What happens in September in South Florida, Nicholas?
Hurricanes.
Yeah. People hate it, man. It's stressful. There's one here like every week on our back door. So this is a prime time to say, listen, if you want to sell it, we can get this thing sold and get it done. Now, a lot of times they go, well, my lawyer said I had to wait till the probate's done. I've already proven it's a 100% lie. I've even debated a lawyer publicly on this, okay? There is, in every state, there is allowance if the buyer and the seller freely want to get rid of an asset before the probate's over. It's fine. People do it with cars, like some collectors' cars that are losing value. They're hard to store. There's nowhere to store it. The court system makes exceptions for stuff like this. You can't wait. Like some probates, I've seen probates take 7 years on a very complicated probate. Most probates we deal as wholesalers, they're very quick probates. So the average probate I do is usually less than 90 days, and I've done one in as little as 3 weeks. So what I want you to do, Nicholas, is just reach back out to her, requalify her, make sure everything fits, and start talking to her. Go out and kind of look at the property. And if you want, dude, I'm right around the corner. I'm happy to work with you on this in any capacity. Okay? Just if you want to send a message over to support it, like Flip with Rick, I'll look at it and see what we need to do. But if you can convince her to enter a contract for like a good number, you don't have to know everything about probate. That's why I keep sharing the secrets with you guys. Think about this. You have it under contract. You have a vacant house. You could send potentially 30 to 40 different buyers there and get the highest offer. You don't even own the property yet because you're waiting for everything to go through. Also, probates, if you want to sit around and wait because you're waiting for it, you can, but like I like to push them along. You will get some pushback from the attorney, but it's remember, the attorney was hired by who?
The PR?
The seller, correct. So you just instruct the seller, so you play armchair quarterback. I got nothing to do with it. I told the attorney, don't call me. I got nothing to do with it. I'm just the buyer. Once you enter that agreement with the PR, you're locked and loaded. So the question is, can you buy it like in the next 30 days or are they going to wait till the probate's done? I've done them both ways. Sometimes you do have to respect the attorney and give them their room because like attorney and like client privilege, it's kind of weird. If an attorney tells a client to do something, they'll do it, even like if it's wrong. And there's nothing I can do. Just like if you have a real estate agent listing a property, the lister typically does what the real estate asks them to do. So I don't talk negatively about the attorney. I'm like, did you know that you can actually sell the property before the probate's completed? Keep in mind, I have no idea where they are in the probate process. So you have to be careful how you say that. I like to say it right when they hire the attorney because all attorneys in the first 30 to 90 days fall asleep on probates, and that's when I strike. And then once the attorney calls me and says something like aggressive, I said, listen, I have a legally binding contract with your client. Would you like to speak to my attorney or is there a problem? And they always like, okay, if you have an attorney, I'd be happy to talk to him. I don't need to talk to an attorney. I'm just buying it. I don't care. So this is in the state of Florida, a little bit different than some of the other states. So just go back and requalify her, try to get an appointment to look at the property and see what kind of price, what she needs to get for that property. Make sure it makes sense before you even go out and look at it. Guys, just because they're probate, sometimes they have wacko pricing too. But there's two types. The heirs always wants $1 million, and the PR is the responsible person. So remember, whoever the PR in probate is, the deceased person appointed him. It's usually the senior representative of the family or the most responsible person. And they go, man, I got bills on this house. I don't want to fix it up. And I find most probates, they'll make a very fair deal if they want to sell it. The people who want tippy top dollar, I just tell them to list it with a realtor. There's nothing I can do to help them. And then I'll refer them with a realtor, and then I usually get a 20 to 30% marketing fee for doing that. I don't get a commission, guys, understanding between a 20 and 30% marketing fee. So if a realtor collected a $5,000 commission, I would expect like a $1,500 marketing fee. It's not contingent on the sale or anything like that, but guys, I do them all the time. Remember, listen to what your seller wants and help them achieve it. If you try to fight it, this job is terrible. This career is terrible. I'm not into faking people out. If they want full price and want it listed with a realtor, let them go this way. Do not try to talk these people into novations and all this other crap. It's going to blow up in your face. So when did you talk to her?
On Tuesday.
Okay. So support at Flip with Rick if you want to send me an email, or you can send me a note in the private chat. Dude, I'm right here. I'm literally going to drive right by you today and maybe again tomorrow. So if you want, I'm happy to partner up with you and help you out. So I don't do a lot of local JVing, but I love probates, man. You've got it. Just go out. Just find out. You're there.
Okay, so Monday I want to call her on Monday and ask like and give
Why are
her
you
like
going to
the
wait
whole
till
thing
Monday,
about,
Nicholas? Why don't we go on the call right now and call her?
Really?
Dude, just rip it off. So, guys, I'm here to tell you, I get it. It's uncomfortable and it's a little bit freaky, but there's a reason you're pointing my way to wholesaling. So, what's your reason, Nicholas? How old are you, first of all?
I'm 19.
Okay, so you're young. That's awesome. You were so far ahead of the curve by just having this conversation with me, and I really commend you for it because you could just stick to traditional schooling route, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if that I tried that, it didn't work. It didn't work out very well for me. So you're young. I'm here to tell you, life is risky. Do you agree with that, Nicholas?
Yeah.
Are we getting out alive?
Nope.
Go for it, man. Get off this thing and call her. I'm telling you. You're going to think about it all weekend. It's going to bother you. Just call her. The worst she's going to say is, no, I don't want to do it. The best is she says yes. And then if you're uncomfortable, like, crap, I don't know what to do, call me. I'll get one of either myself, Zach, or one of my team members. I'll help you out. You're local. I can't make it any easier for you, dude. Dude, probates are the key. You do one probate, it's doing like 3 wholesale deals every time. So I like what you're doing. I just do not wait. It doesn't get better over time. It actually gets worse. Saturday is a prime day to talk to people with their properties. So I just say, listen, I had a couple follow-up questions. Have a reason to call her. I forgot to ask you this. How many bedrooms did that have? Okay, cool. That's great. You know, I was thinking about it. I think it might be a good fit. Is there anything else I need to know about the house? And just reopen the questions again. And go, is there a way I can just take a quick peek and look at it? And did you have an idea what you need to get for that property? Now, if you could do it in person with her, it works out well. Whatever you're comfortable with. I don't know where she's located, but do me a favor. Don't wait till Monday. Do it tonight. Or first thing tomorrow at the worst. I find if you just get these phone calls over with, like the result's going to happen, right? So you might as well give it the best outcome. The worst thing you can do is call and she goes, you know what? I just went under contract with another investor. I'm so sorry, Nicholas. You never called me back. I've had that happen to me hundreds of times. Don't be in that one. Call her. I'm giving you every outlet to make this work. Dude, I'll do it with you. I'll do it with you in a heartbeat. If you want, you get on the phone call. We'll just, I won't do it live. I'm not putting you on the spot, but I'm here to help you out, man. You just got to make the call. It's uncomfortable. It's awkward. Dude, I already told you, I almost crapped in my pants my first 3 deals. It's the truth. At least I'm honest about it. I don't get nerves talking to people anymore because I actually enjoy it. So, are you comfortable making that phone call?
Yeah, I'm comfortable, yeah.
Okay. So make that phone call if you want. Hang up and then send me a message. Let me know how it worked out. I want it to work out for you. The sun's not quite down. It's a good time to call people and just have a reason to call and go, listen, I forgot to ask you this. And then go in those questions that I just taught you. It's real simple. All you are, Nicholas, is having a conversation with someone. The better you get at your conversations, the more money you'll make in wholesaling. So you're in the right place to do it. Just keep doing it.
All right, thank you.
You going to call?
Yep, I'm doing it right now.
Okay. So this is what I want you to do. Whenever you guys go, I'm going to wait 3 or 4 days to call me. No. Pick up the phone and just get it over with. Because then you get the stress of the anxiety of calling, especially all weekend. Just get it over with. Just rip it off, man. It's not going to hurt. They can't hurt you. It's just a phone call. You got it, Nicholas. Keep going, man. You got so much ahead of you in your future. If I could tell you how bright your future is, you wouldn't even believe me. I didn't wake up till I was 33. So you're on the right path. Find the path to take care of yourself so you can get freedom so you don't have to work for anyone other than who you want to work with. Okay? You're in the perfect spot to do it. Okay,
right.
Let me know the result of it, Nicholas.
All right, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, man. I appreciate it. You guys think Nicholas should call? I think he should call, man. Hell, I'd do the call live, but that's just so. Nicholas, you got it, man. Just go out and do that. So I don't want you guys waiting to make these phone calls. The wait doesn't make it better. It actually makes it worse, in my opinion. So let's get Kay on. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Rick? How are you?
Good. You got a deal you're working on?
I do. I have a probate deal that I'm working on that I could use some assist with.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so the I actually know the family pretty well. I grew up with one of the heirs. So
Okay.
the um, the father passed away back last December and has three children. One of them lives in the home right now.
Okay.
The other one, who I have a good relationship with, she wants to liquidate, take the money that she can, and go on vacation, do whatever she wants. The third heir doesn't have a great relationship with the other two heirs. So what I'm wondering is, how do I kind of, for lack of better terms, massage the third heir that doesn't really have a great relationship with the other two into agreeing to sell that property to me?
Okay. So back up. Who is the executor or the personal rep for the estate?
I'm not sure. I don't think there is one. There wasn't a will, and I'm not sure.
Okay. So what state are you in, Kay?
Texas.
Okay. So there has to be a person appointed to be in charge of the probate. It doesn't mean they're in charge of the will. So usually that person hires an attorney and files a petition. And most likely that's usually the responsible party. If there's a will, they're usually named in the will. This is going to be my executor of the will, and it's easy. When there's not a will, the person has to apply, and the court will hear if anyone has any objection to this person being it, which would open up to the heirs, family members and everything else. So the main thing is you got to find out who the personal representative is or the executor. That's the person that has the most power in the deal. Like hands down, if you can't make that person happy, you don't have a deal. I've made the PR happy, and sometimes the heirs aren't always happy. In my experience, the personal representative is usually one of the heirs as well, too. So if you had 4 heirs and one of them was the PR, understanding the PR is just in charge of submitting everything and communicating to the attorney, but the 4 heirs, 25% each. So you said there's 3 heirs total, right?
There's 3. Yep.
Okay. So the first thing you're going to have to find out is, have they opened up a probate yet?
I know that they each have an attorney involved. I actually called a title company to see it, just to kind of see if they would do the deal. And the title company actually told me that as long as all 3 of them can agree on a price,
Yeah.
then we can exit out the attorneys and all of that stuff.
Yeah. So most families will hire one attorney because nobody wants to pay 3 attorneys, and it's very confusing. So in the simplest form of probate, our job is to get the people in charge to agree to a price and then execute the paperwork and then let everybody else try to push it along. So your only job is to get 3 people in agreement. Now,
Yep.
here's my experience in probates. Once you have 4 heirs, man, the odds of getting like a good deal and agreement it's painful. And I'm just telling you, once you hit 4, your deal, your percentage is cut down by 80% because there's always one person that thinks the property's worth $1 million. 3's a pain in the ass. 2's really easy. 1's a no-brainer. So I almost, at one point, we were doing so many probates, I used to look at them. I had one ready for this, 26 heirs. I'm like, don't even bother. My sales guy took it, called the guy, and it was ready for it's the one probate where they had an attorney organized. One PR was in charge of everything. He goes, everything goes through me. Everyone's agreed to agree on what I agree on. I'm like, holy crap. I was going to blow that lead off. So I looked at 26 and I was filtering anything 4 and above because we were wasting so much time and energy. So you have 3 heirs. How many are in agreement so far?
I would say 2.
Okay. Are they all local or are they all spread out through the country?
They all live in the same town.
So the relationship amongst the 3, is it stressed?
The relationship between the 2 of them, one that is really good, but the third one doesn't have a good relationship with the other 2, and that's why I was kind of asking, how do I massage that deal to where?
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, dude, I'm an expert in doing this, is go to the 2 that agree and say, dude, so are they? brother, sister, or like what's the relations?
It's 2 sisters and 1 brother.
Okay. So that's like my family dynamic, so I know it well. So you got to go to the 2 that agree, and now you got to get as much intel on the problem child. Okay. Like, what's the deal with them? Like, I don't want to get into the family drama. You got to avoid that. Like, what's his biggest pet peeve? You'd be surprised. Some people like, I don't want Susie to benefit at all from mom's property. It's not fair.
Right.
Okay. Like, I hear stuff like this. So you got to take his gripe and then go get intel from the other 2 girls. And then you're basically a mediator. Because in the end, the reality, here's how probate works. So if you have multiple parties, if one party decides to hold out and hold the probate hostage, they can actually be overruled. And then they have to pay all attorney's fees and any additional paperwork. And they'll basically be almost cut out of the will if they do that. Now, that's a beating stick that you don't want to start out with. I always have an attorney or a title company goes, listen, if you don't agree to this, the other 2 are going to file a petition to basically exonerate you from this file because you're holding it hostage. We can't move forward without their agreement. If a judge sees, hey, everyone's being reasonable, you just have a beef to grind, they will write them out. I've had that happen twice in my career. It's not easy, and it's long and exhaustive. So you got to get the intel, and then you got to talk to that person, and you have to find rationality and get them like down to planet Earth. So what I do with that one person, I'll find out like what makes them tick, what do they like to do. I know you hate your sisters, but the reality is if this could go through, if I get that price, you basically get $14,000, and you can use it to buy that motorbike you always wanted. And I think mom would be happy. 9 times out of 10, it's just an axe to grind with a family member, and they think holding it hostage is going to take advantage of it, and it's not. The
Right.
fact that you have a personal relationship knowing these people, you should be able to push much, much harder.
Excellent.
So it's hard to negotiate with crazy people, and this is the advanced part of wholesaling that a lot of people will not teach you. But I've had them all the time, dude. It's like the thing is, I don't depend on the deal. I want the deal, but like in the end, here's what I say to the guy holding out. I go, listen, dude, you're just going to screw yourself. Like, you're going to get nothing.
Exactly.
And so, like, I get it. I'm not on their sides. I'm just trying to see if we can make a good fit here for you. And then I've even had the other 2 people like, fine, we'll throw them an extra $2,000 just to get them out of our hair. It's got to be their decision. Don't ever suggest it because you will get kicked out of the building. And just keep going through it. And at some point, it gets to the point where he won't sign. You can move it forward. And if he doesn't cooperate and the attorney can document it and stuff, then they can file a motion. And then that's when you go, listen, hey, John, you got to come to the table and like offer us something. If not, we're going to wipe you out of this probate. And you're going to pay all the fees and stuff. And you're going to get nothing. Don't do that till the very end. But you just got to take time and massage it. They get pissed and try not to say anything that incriminates you. Like, listen, I know your sisters are difficult, but man, I've seen some crazy ones. Oh, I get it, man. There's like some serious family heat. You got to just try to take it down to the business matter. And then I always find that one holdout party will always ask for something, and it sounds a little bit crazy. And a lot of times it's not money. They want mom's blanket. They just want an ability to have closure. Can we do this? And just find a way to honor them and do it. But like, you have a personal relationship, you should be able to push harder. The problem is, as outsiders, if you don't know the family, you get into the dynamics. I once sat in a probate. I think it was 6 siblings. And man, I made a mistake because they said, okay, we'll all get together. Well, I didn't ask a lot of questions. Well, 4 of them were in agreement, 2 weren't. And 2 were brothers, and they got a all-out street fight in the yard. And I said, listen, I don't do this stuff. You call me when you guys work this out. 2 years later, they called me. Like, and the market went crazy. And I'm just like, in the end, you can't make people sell. So don't ever think you can make people sell. But you have to rationalize people. People get immature. They make terrible decisions. And, okay, this is a prime example of why I became a wholesaler. I have to help people get out of their own dang way. This one holdout is only going to screw himself if he keeps this attitude going. And you have to find a way to kind of walk him through that. So find out what his likes or interests is and churn whatever profitability you think he's going to get. Go, if we can get you this money, you're going to tell me that's not going to make a difference in your life. He'll say, well, I don't want my sisters to get anything. I'm like, unfortunately, that's not my call. They're part of the family. There's nothing we can do. So you said there's no will?
There's no will, no.
Yeah. So how much is the property worth?
Property's worth completely fixed about 250,000, 260.
Need work?
Lipstick, maybe 20, 25,000.
Okay. So find the right price, figure out an estimated proceeds they're going to get, and start talking numbers to them. Numbers talk, man.
Okay.
Well, listen, what if we could get you $15,000? Like, seriously. The problem is when he goes, well, I need $150,000. I'm like, it ain't going to work. Don't be one of these guys that goes, okay, I'm going to do the 70% rule to protect myself in this market. It doesn't work that way. I'm like, if I thought it worked that way, if you want to pick up one deal every 3 years, do the 70% rule, because that's what you're going to come down to. So figure it out. You said which one of them is living in it?
The brother.
Is that the difficult one?
No, it's one of the sisters.
So that's interesting, because usually the person living on one's the one that doesn't want it to go through, because then they don't have a place to live. So I think that's actually advantageous. When they're living, that one's a hard one to overcome. I have 3 of those going on right now. I'm like, you're right. You're right. If we come to a conclusion, you're out. And they're like, well, the average rental in South Florida is like $3,500 a month. I'm like, I live here for free for the last 5 years. I'm like, I get it. So
Right.
Use the intel from the 2 that are cooperating, and then separate off the other one and try to form like a personal relationship and find out what makes them tick. Social media is a good clue on like what people like to do if they're not too old, like me, as old farts do, like Facebook and stuff. But like between Snapchat, Instagram, I'm on TikTok, guys, but it's a different world on TikTok, man. Like 7 seconds to grab someone's attention. It's not my world. So, anyways, I enjoy it either way. So you just go, this is the norm of probates, guys. You have to solve a lot bigger problems, but when you solve them, you get paid hugely. And keep in mind, there's some problems you just can't solve. And you got to know, and like, I can't do that. I can't get you $1 million. I can't make your sister apologize to you. I had one probate where the girl signed, took forever to get a signature, and then we had the closing, and she did this like hostage situation for 3 days. And she says, give me 10 grand. I go, I'm not authorized to give you 10 grand. I can't do that. So I had the heirs. I go, listen, she wants 10 grand. She wants, 3 grand from each of you, or she's going to walk. And the lawyer goes, screw that. We'll just file a motion. And she wound up signing a week later, and we got it all done. So it's, but the judge goes, I'll have that signed in 30 days, and then they won't get a dime. So if you have to use the penalty stick, say, listen, if they decide to move forward, do all the court process, and you decide to hold out, you do run the risk of being completely cut out of the probate, because it is a vote. There's X amount of you. If 3/4 of you cooperate and one doesn't, it's not going to look good in front of the judge. So
Okay.
you got it?
Yeah, I got it. I also had one minor question. It's
Okay.
a topic about probates.
Shoot.
I was scrolling through some of your old videos. I might be looking kind of wrong about what I saw, but if I get a property under contract, and let's say the grass is 3 foot high, maybe the outside needs to be power washed to clean it up, is that something I should spend my time to do just to clean it up a little bit before I get investors out there? Maybe mow the lawn, spray off the outside.
So you're talking about properties under contract, right?
Yes.
Okay. So as long as you have permission from the owner, you can do anything you want. It's all risk versus reward. Okay. To me, anything within like $150, if it's going to make you an extra $5,000, do it. Because I agree with you completely. Like a lot of my wholesale properties, like, oh, Rick does wholesale. I go, listen, let me explain this to you. I will spend $1,500 on a property plus the closing costs to make $25,000 more. I'll do it all day long. So anything you do in wholesaling, look at the risk versus reward. Do not try to be a designer in this business. There's no designing in wholesaling. If you can knock knock the snot or the smell out of something and you sell the vision, that's great. So if you can get a guy to weed, if you have really high grass, you get him to weed whack it. You're at the end of summer, so the grass is, I know it's probably going to be pretty high. It might be worth it. In any ways, you're going to have to cut it anyways, or you're going to wind up getting a code violation. It's going to like make the probably a problem. A lot of times, though, I will tell the seller, if they give me a great deal, I'll take care of it. If they give me an okay deal, I'll let them know that they have to reimburse me at the closing. Most of them don't mind with it. Like, yeah, if you could take care of that, would be great. And a lot of probates, here's a little tip I do, guys, is when I'm working with people in probates, is I offer to do the little things that nobody else will do. I go, listen, if you enter the agreement, I'll go ahead and mow the lawn for you. Take care of it during the summer. If you enter the agreement, I'll take over your water bill. If you enter an agreement with her, I'll take over your electric bill. Guys, it's minor amounts of money. And it always gives you a reason that have things in the house. And you always have a reason to be near the house, have a lockbox on the house. And it allows you to sell it to the highest bidder. And then honestly, if it's got like rats and roaches in there, go sweep them all out. Sellers, they see one roach, they're like little girls. Like, dude, it's a roach. Like, relax. Like, you're seeing. So we'll go in and I clean up the property, turn on the air conditioning. Just if you can sell the vision without the smell to an investor, they will usually pay very, very good. So, but remember, okay, it's risk. You got to analyze your risk and what is the reward for it. If you're not going to make any money, don't do it. Some properties are so ugly, so heinous, they're not worth touching. Like, there's nothing you could do. And the problem is if you go, okay, well, I'm going to spend $1,500 on it. $1,500 can turn into $3,000 before you know what hits you. And I've done that before. Like, just to get a dumpster at one of our properties, it's $600 for the dumpster. And to try to find two guys fill that dumpster, it's another $300 to $500. It's like, it adds up really quick. So you have to look around and go, okay. And some of them are so ugly. I go, dude, just sell it the way it is. There's nothing we can do with that property. So if you can mow the lawn $50, $100, and you can make a 10 times return on it, go for it. Okay. If you're doing it to do your designer feel thing, dude, run. Because it's not like, I once got convinced by one of the guys, if we just paint the inside of the house, I go, I don't think there's that, dude, that house needs a heck of a lot more than paint. And the guy goes, I don't know why you bothered painting it. I'm just going to paint over everything. I go, did the paint help? He goes, absolutely not. It probably hurt your price. I'm like, okay, I learned my lesson. Gotcha. So if you can, if I can get a nice big fat return, and maybe you guys go, listen, if I spend $300 and I get $1,000 back, I'm okay with that. That's up to you when you do it. But anytime you can take the smell or open up and get the dirt out, a little trick, guys, when you have really dirty, nasty carpets, just roll them up and take them out. Just leave it raw floor. It looks better than the dirty, nasty carpets. They're so full of crap and smell. If you just take them out, you can sell the vision. They're like, what was here before? I'm like, I don't know, but you can put down hardwood flooring. You can put down tile, whatever you want. Man, those old carpets, they stink something horrendous. And if you ever try to clean old carpets, it's worse because it pulls out all the, animal smells and stuff like that. So you can get a guy in there with just a utility knife, cut it all up. Just tell him to get it out of the property for you, or put it out by the garbage, and amazing things can happen with it. Once again, make sure you got permission from the owner before you start doing that stuff. But honestly, you're probably doing them a favor by doing that.
Right.
You guys, like a lot of these probates, I got that deep shag carpeting, like 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick, and it's all brown, and it's been there since the 70s. It ain't doing you any favors. It's a bit, and like, well, what's under it? It's concrete. I've actually had wood floorings underneath some of the stuff, terrazzo, all sorts of stuff. So risk reward. Look at it, evaluate it, make a decision, and make sure when you're done with that transaction, you evaluate if it worked out to what you thought, and then you can use it and you can decide, okay, I'm going to spend a little bit more money on the next one. But doing the utilities, doing the lawn and maintenance for them, phenomenal. Like, people love that stuff in probates. Nobody else ever offers that. Like, when I go out, they go, you really do that? Yeah, because you're giving me a good deal on the property. And when you turn on the utilities, guys, it's like $50, $60 a month. It's not a lot of money. You don't have to do it. I prefer you mow the lawn or something like that. It's like you're less attached to the property. But remember, you then have control of the property. You know when someone goes in there, when someone doesn't, and it gives you an excuse always to go out to the property. So,
excellent.
Okay, bud.
Yeah, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
You got it, man. Let me know how it works out. It's going to take you some time. I'm going to forewarn you on that, but you just got to keep solving it like a puzzle.
I sure
And
will.
don't give up on it. This isn't like an hourly job where I can put 2 hours in there. I'm going to make 50 grand. You might have to put 20 or 30 hours in it, but they're never sequential. It's an hour here and an hour there, and it all adds up at the end. Okay.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Rick. I appreciate
Okay,
it.
you got it, man. I'll see you, man.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Boy, we got a lot of people in there. This is fun. Britt, you there? You-
Yes,
Yeah, listen, you need to look at the road, not me, or I have to end this thing because I don't want to be responsible for you getting in an accident. So if you want to pull over and talk to me, or you can look at the road, whichever you want to do.
okay. I'm almost on my driveway anyway, so I'll just look at the road.
Okay.
I'm just starting action this week. Getting people asking me like where I'm located, and I'm in Canada. So the first person I was like, oh, I'm actually out of the state right now, but my partner's there. And then he's like, when are you going to be back in the state? And I was like, I'm not too sure, but that's what my partner's there for. He's not responding. So, like, how do I handle these inquiries?
So, Britt, I'm having a problem like hearing you because it goes in and out.
Do I have to like exit the YouTube? I don't have it running on another
No. You probably just need to kind of pull over and just try to talk to me. There's a lot of bouncing around in the car going on and stuff like that. If you want, I can come back to you.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead. I didn't hear anything you said before.
Okay. I just started taking action this week on Facebook that I'm looking for houses, and people are responding. But I've gotten in a private message, this guy's like, where are you located? So I was like, oh, I'm just out of the state right now, but my partner's there.
Okay.
And then he's, when are you coming back to the States? And I was like, oh, I'm not too sure, but that's why my partner's there. And then he ghosted me. So when people ask, like, how do I convince them that it's fine?
you reside in Canada, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And what part of the U.S. are you marketing to?
Well, the other thing is I picked Milwaukee, and there's 0 for sale by owner listings. What does that mean? Why?
I missed. Say that again. Right before you said, what does it mean?
There's 0 for sale by owner listings in Milwaukee.
Well, it depends on what you're looking where you're getting that information from.
I just tried Zillow. There's other places, but I don't know what.
So, have you gone over to freewholesaling.com yet? Have you gone through some of the coursework?
Most of it, yeah.
Okay. So, if you go through it, are you actually working with a partner in the United States, or are you just telling people that?
No, I don't have anyone yet.
Okay. So the first thing you do is you got to get your virtual game dialed in, because the last thing I want you to do is tell someone that's not the truth, because they're going to call you to the table on it. Keep in mind, I got people all over the world doing this. You're not the only one. So you got to find a way. You've got to have a way you're going to take these properties down. So if you contract the property, say in Milwaukee, Atlanta, wherever it's going to be, is, what's your plan once you have it under contract? Because you got to kind of think that through, because it's a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge, and there's different ways to go about it. Some people have some boots on the ground. Some people say, hey, I'll figure it out as I go along, which isn't the worst answer in the world. But at some point, you do have to have like a basic game plan to take the properties down. So you can do the whole thing virtually, but understanding people are going to ask you that question a lot more than one time. They're going to do it over and over. And it's like, I don't know about you, but it's like, you can't lie to them every time. And you say, listen, I'm bouncing around. If you can get someone to a number on a property, you can do some serious damage. The problem is you got to go through X amount of leads. This business is already challenging as it is, because you got to deal with local people. And so you have to have like a massive amount of quantity. Most people who do the virtual, they're looking for people that just have high motivating factors. They put them under contract, and then they're going to sell them to like a local investor, so they never have to leave their beautiful place in Canada, which I don't blame you. What's the temperature there right now?
Oh,
is that like a hoodie you have on?
Well, I got a little chilly. We actually hate hopefully we're done. So that's why I want to wholesale so we can get the fuck out of here. But
Yeah.
I don't know how to keep these conversations going. Do I need to vet my cash buyer before I even start so that I have someone there? Like, I don't know how to.
So I think you just need to go back to freewholesaling.com and take a little bit more time there, because honestly, I got 20 years of experience in there. I get it. You're doing the virtual model. You have to find highly motivated people, put them under contract, and then you're going to possibly have to use some boots on the ground to verify some of the conditions of the property. The biggest challenge with virtual markets is you think you could have a wonderful, like incredible deal, only to find out it needs massive renovations and they didn't tell you about it, and you can't physically see this stuff over the phone. And we have a lot of that. I do virtual markets. I do 4 of them. We
Okay.
get the same thing. I'm like, oh my God. I go, I can't believe you got that price. And then finally, the cash buyers are all struggling with me. I hire someone to go take pictures, look at the property. I find out what the problem is instantly. They didn't tell us it had 60 grand of damage in the property. They're like, yeah, it's normal. I go, no, the whole property's trashed. I looked at the pictures. Nobody wants to buy it. And that's the biggest problem you're going to have with it. So you can hire local people to do it, to take a look at the property. But remember, you have to find highly motivated people to do virtual. That's the only way it works out, because I'm not familiar with those local markets. And there's got to be a really good spread for me to make it work, because nobody can memorize every market. I could not go to Canada and figure out how to buy a house if you threw it at me. Everything's different there. So on average, any market you dive into, you have no experience, it's going to take you 90 days to even get familiar with it. That's just how it works. Even me, 20 years experience, it takes me 90 days just to even get to a break-even profitable level. So understanding it's going to take you some time. You've already found some of the challenges. So now you have to figure out in how you speak with your customers, how you're going to overcome some of these objections. But you've got to understand up first, you have to buy from highly motivated people. A lot of people in your situation, they'll only buy what we call the lowest hanging fruit. You know what I mean? You ever go to a fruit tree and that one branch is bending all the way over and the fruit's almost touching the ground? People take that because it's easiest and the ripest. That's how most people start with virtual marketing. Why? Because people with the most motivation, they give you the least amount of problems to sell the property. The minute somebody wants to dive into Britt and find, okay, Britt, where do you live? When are you coming to see me? No one stopped by to take pictures of the house. What's going on? They become problematic in virtual investing. And you're not the only one person. I have this exact same problem all the time whenever I enter a new market. I have to wait. I have to find someone that I can trust to take pictures, occasionally help me out with new cash buyers. And it's a pain in the butt. I'm not going to lie to you. But once you figure it out, it's fun. But it's 3 months. So how long have you been doing this for now?
I've been watching videos, and I joined a course in February. So I'm like, finally, I can't watch any more videos. I have to.
No, you can't. You just gotta start talking to people. So the reality is, if you want to stay in Canada, what you're doing with having very limited boots on the ground, eventually you're gonna have to find someone that can help you if you get a really good deal. So if you got a deal tomorrow that say was 70 cents on the dollar, what would you do? Like they gave you a great deal. They're like, yeah, Brett, like I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get rid of this thing.
Well, today I looked up how to hire a veteran, but I don't know, like the best. I would look for cash buyers and try to get one in that inspection period. But
Yeah. You would find someone within $50 to $100 to help you out. And you would have to take the first three people that called you and just take a risk with them, because if not, you're going to get nothing. And that's how most first people start out with like virtual markets. And then they find some people they trust. They find some people that weren't very good to you, and you just move forward. There's no way to start a virtual market and be successful like in the first month. Every now and then someone gets lucky, but the numbers are against you when you do that. So you just got to kind of reformulate your strategy and figure out how you want to do it. How did you pick the Milwaukee market?
I tried to use, I think, PropStream from a previous coach and kind of looked at that, and then I started committing to it, so I thought I should try.
Okay. So the beauty of having a virtual market is you can pick which market you want to go to. You have the choice to go wherever you want. Now, you're not living in that market, but you want to make money in that market. So you want to find the most profitable markets. So my son just did a video, I think 2 days ago, on the most profitable markets. You can go back and
Yeah.
check that. I know you don't want to watch
Yeah.
videos. The other way to do it is a technique I show you how to piggyback on wholesalers with huge egos and just get on the cash buyers list and find out where they're having success. And piggyback, because it works out. Think about this. Say you decided to, I don't know, attack Oklahoma City. I have no idea about Oklahoma City. I'm not giving you a suggestion.
Yeah.
But say you go there, you found 2 or 3 people having massive success, and you found out that like they're all getting properties in the same 3 zip codes. Well, then you could target your market towards there, find these people, and then if you get it on a contract, guess who you get to sell it to? You just sell it to the other wholesalers. I did that for like the longest time when I couldn't figure out how to do virtual marketing. Just let other people point you to the money and take advantage of their egos. Do not spend money trying to figure out markets that you know nothing about. And that's the other challenge is if you're going to pick a virtual market, try to pick the one where you think you're going to have the most success. Either somewhere you've visited or maybe you've had family with, or try to find someone else that's having success today, not 3, not 6 months ago, today. Then find the areas that they're having success and go attack them. If you're going to cold call them, if you're going to mail to them, if you're going to SMS them, and kind of go from there. I'm giving you all the stuff's in freewholesaling.com, but I'm trying to give you ideas to do it. So you're young. It's not too cold yet. Your brain hasn't froze yet. So I like your glasses too, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
So
So
it's
I can find deals and sell them to other wholesalers. What about the ones that have already gotten them under contract and there's a big spread? Can I piggyback that way, or it's not that easy to do?
It's a little bit harder, but like if you can go into an area where wholesalers are having success, you can put it under contract. Dude, they'll buy. They will get your deal. They have a huge, extensive network of cash buyers. You guys, for the first 2 years, all I did was sell my stuff to wholesalers because I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, well, I might as well take 10 grand and learn the business and keep surviving. You will never get killed taking a profit, and sometimes you do that as you're learning and going forward. Listen, you're young, you're learning. What attracts you to wholesaling?
Oh, the freedom and the mobility and flexibility. Like,
Okay.
I can't believe this
So
job exists.
you got to be willing to pay a little bit of a price for it. It's not terrible, but I've already told it, if you give 2 years, 24 months,
Okay.
it will change the complete trajectory of your life. I've already proven to you with a 17-year-old kid. I have 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds I've taught. It's the same thing. This business isn't about how smart you are. It's like how effective you work. And what I love about this isn't really even a sales business. You just go find people. You got to learn to talk to people and really connect with them and then solve a problem. If you can do that, you can make an amazing amount of money. The first 2 years, everybody goes through like, how do I do this? It is more challenging. I'll be brutally honest. It is more challenging to do a virtual market from scratch with no experience because there's a lot of obstacles. You just got to overcome them one at a time, not try to go, God, this is overwhelming. I'm going to quit. Like, this isn't worth it. You got to think back and go, okay, what the heck did I do this for? I didn't figure this stuff out till I was like 33. I didn't even get going until I was 35. And I had a mortgage. I had 2 hungry kids and a wife looking at me like, how the hell are you going to make this work?
Yeah.
And maybe I was more motivated for that. Like maybe just sometimes you just go, hey, listen, I'm going to eat like mac and cheese till I figure this out. Don't do that. But I'm just telling you, you've got to like push yourself to do this stuff. I understand just 2 years, 24 months, it goes by fast. When you get older, guys, it goes even faster. So enjoy the journey. It's a pain in the butt, but like when you overcome it, it's like the best feeling in the world. And then you can give back to your family, whatever you decide to do. You go on trips all over the world and do whatever you want because you can operate this business from anywhere. If you can figure it out now, you can do it anywhere. And honestly, you could pick one virtual market and have success. You could do 2 or 3. And I have someone I taught this business about 3 years ago, super guy out of, I think he is, it's not San Diego. I think it's like Long Beach or something. And he does somewhere all the way down in the South. And we have conversations. I just can't believe how much money the guy's making. And like, he was doing the same conversation you were, the exact same conversation. I'm just like, I told him, I go, you're going to be a beast one day. And he struggled horribly his first 6 months. And then around 7th, 8th month, he's like, okay, I figured it out. I go, I told you it'd take 3 months. He's like, yeah, I didn't believe you, Lo. I'm like, okay. So you experience it. So you got to go through the journey. I would
Yeah.
spend more time in freewholesaling.com, and then I would research the markets you want to penetrate, because you can go anywhere you want. So you might as well pick the most effective one. Find another wholesaler having success that can't stop bragging, get on their cash buyers list, and in 48 hours, you'll figure out exactly where the best deals are being harvested today. And then you make a decision if you want to go and attack in that market, okay?
Okay.
So I'm glad you pulled over and nobody got killed. Thank you.
Can I ask one more?
Yeah, shoot.
Realtors, when they're like, what are you looking for? I'd love to help you. Do I just say, oh, well, I'm actually a wholesaler. So do you work with wholesalers? Like, how do I?
Okay, so if you're going to work with a realtor, lose the word wholesaler.
Okay.
Because they all have a preconceived notion of how you're going to screw them.
Yeah.
All realtors here, listen, this is a true story. Any type of realtor school that realtors go through, they're taught to be realtors. Like, I don't blame them. Like, and
Yeah.
so when it comes to like all realty contracts have a section in it because they're approved by each state and they're the bar association. Is this contract assignable or not? Like, there's different variations of it. Do you know in almost 90% of the realtor schools, all the instructors teach them, make sure you never have an assignable contract because you're winding up getting a wholesaler and your life's going to be hell. That's what they tell them. So the minute you go, hey, I'm a wholesaler, like, oh God, this is the person they told me about in school I need to avoid.
Yeah.
So don't give them a preconceived notion. I buy houses for cash. And here's what I do with realtors. If you ever have a house you come across and it's funky, like meaning it's going to need repairs and you need to get it up, give me a call because I have a way where I can actually buy that house and pay you your full commissions. Let me know if that's something of interest. You don't need to call me every day. You don't even have to call me every month. Just call me when it comes up and give me a chance. And I'll pay you your full commissions. All they want to hear is that you're going to pay them. So many investors waste realtors' time.
Yeah.
I did it a little bit in the beginning, so I'm guilty of it too. Now I have a complete different perspective because I get a lot of deals from realtors. I'm very respectful of the time. There is a time and place for everything. If you go to a realtor and try to explain why you're a kick-ass wholesaler and why you have to learn how wholesalers work, they don't care.
Okay.
What's in it for me? That's all they care about, right? That's what most people are. This is the reality. So give them what they want. I'm going to pay your commissions. Find a property that you can't sell that needs some love. And if we can strike a deal, I'll pay cash for it and pay you your full commissions. They typically go like this. Well, Britt, if you fix it up, can I relist it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a deal and let's see how that works out. I can't promise that, but I promise to pay you your full commissions. The minute you commit to that, they will beat you to a pulp. And I go, if you behave and you can get me a buyer that will pay full price, I 100% I would do that. And that's it. I never give them an exclusive listing because I want everyone to go fight and get me the best price for the property. But remember, that's when we go to retail. We're talking about wholesaling. So typically you're going to buy the property, make sure the realtor gets paid their full commission, and then you harvest your profit, and then everybody's happy. And that's how you do it. Do not tell the realtor I'm a wholesaler because they're going to discount you immediately.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, if they ask what you do, it's like, I'm a person who buys houses for cash. You ever met someone like that?
Yeah.
And they're going, yeah, I have it. I go, no, I thought you guys were like an anomaly. I didn't even know you guys existed. It's amazing. So,
So if pay their closing costs, is that something I would actually like pay out of my assignment fee, or that would be the buyer's? Like, how does that? Yeah.
So, so say you're buying a house for $100,000 US, and say the realtor gets 3%, okay? And then say you're selling that property for 115 or 120. Okay? By the way, it's all wide open negotiable. Like, you can push the realtor fee on your new buyer, but the reality is you typically absorb it. So whatever I'm going to pay the realtor, I'm just going to add to my in fee anyways. So if I'm thinking sell at 115 and I got to pay a $3,000 commission, I'm going to sell it for 118 because technically I didn't pay for the realtor when it comes down to it.
Okay.
You see what I'm getting? So yes, it would be your expense, but the reality is you're just going to push the price up a little bit more and you'll have no problem getting it. Sometimes you're making such stupid spreads. Like, who cares if you pay a realtor $2,000 or $3,000? If you made 30 grand, would $2,000 or $3,000 stop you?
No.
It stops most people in this business. I'm here to tell you. I get probably 15, 20 deals a year from realtors based on that conversation I just told you, because I tell them I pay them their full commission and I never question them. So even if I'm only making $3,000 or $4,000, I make sure they're paid. But sometimes I make 50, 60 grand and I make sure they're always paid.
Yeah.
If you take care of your realtors, they'll come back to you. The reality is most wholesalers are pretty abusive with realtors. And we
Oh.
have this tumultuous relationship, and you just have to approach it a little bit differently. I don't want a realtor. I don't need them calling me every day, because they call you every day. After like a month or two, they go, oh man, Britt just wasted my time.
Okay.
She's full of it. I say, listen, just call me with the problem properties. The ones that look bad that you don't want to walk into, or like they need a lot of repair and they won't do it, or the ones you physically can't sell. You just can't sell. But those are hard too. I don't want to. They usually don't sell because they want top dollar. So
But when you're at closing and they find out that you're a wholesaler, isn't that almost worse? Like, you know what I'm saying? If I can prevent that from being like, oh, you didn't tell me that you were going to assign this, is that?
it doesn't really matter at that. So
Oh.
the only person that's ever going to call you to the table on it is the seller. And we tell every seller up front, which I teach you in freewholesaling.com, is I'm buying this property to make a profit.
Yeah.
That's what I do for a living. Once you disclose that up front, they can't have an issue with you.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Honestly, you guys, everybody on this live, you all think the seller's going to have an issue with you. I'm here to tell you, they want their problem solved for this set price. If you can do it and you disclose that to them, they're never going to have a problem with you. I've done this so many times. Honestly, I have a lot of them say, "Goes, I hope you make $100,000." Like I've had some like with crazy statements. You guys make it an issue because you feel like it's like something wrong and we should be making money from these people. Honestly, if you're solving a problem, who cares? They don't come back, and if they do, talk to them about it. Right? Listen, if you buy a piece of bread from the store, do you ask them how much they bought the bread for? No. You just buy the
No,
bread
God.
because it's a good value, right? I'm just telling you, I have only been called maybe twice in my entire career on an assignment fee, and both I explain my way out of it. And the explanation, if you do it up front, it's usually never, ever a problem. Occasionally a realtor throws their 2 cents in there, but I'm not worried about that. So, okay, Britt, I'll talk to you. See you. Okay, let me check the questions here. I'll keep everybody going. See, I missed anyone. Okay, let's keep this going here. Jonathan, you there?
What's up, Rick? How are you?
What's going on, man?
Hey,
Dude, you look just like my nephew, man.
Oh, really?
I got to tell him to go tune on this, dude. Like literally, I'm not going to ask you your age because then I can compare you his age with him. But it's funny, dude. Same glasses, hair, same everything.
That's funny. Yeah. Hey, I'm getting over a cold, so forgive me.
That's okay, man. What's going on, man?
Well, just wanted to thank you. Your probate letter made me $24,875.
Right,
last week.
repeat that. I must have missed something. Say that again.
$24,875.
So tell us how you got it. Like, tell us the process. You can kind of give us a skinny version of it.
Sure. So I've been in probate for a couple of years. Did the whole guru route. Wasted a lot of time.
Yeah.
But it's we've talked enough. The probate letter was super helpful. The what I did is basically I hired a VA to pull probate leads, went through the actual file, determined which ones actually had property and which ones didn't. I didn't want to blast everybody, so I was very specific.
Okay.
Sent out 6 campaigns of about 150, 200 each. I cold called them first. Then I sent out the actual mail. These people texted me and they said, hey, what's going on? Another wholesaler or something is just wasting my time. Another investor out of Arizona. And I looked it up. Sure enough, they had it listed on the MLS, which they didn't really give them permission for. They just signed. Maybe they did.
Wow.
They signed whatever. Complete waste of time. Way over market. Like, I think they had it listed at 350. The contract was around 300. I offered a guaranteed offer of at least 200 because they had a mortgage. So at least 200 they'd walk away with, besides taxes and judgments. And they were happy with that. They were just down to the wire. They needed it. They basically needed the money day of closing to get back home because they were a couple hours north. They were that desperate and down to the wire. And they were so grateful. Like, can't tell you how happy they were. And someone ethical that knew what they were doing came along and actually helped them. So I sent them some gas money because the wire was slow. But anyway,
Yeah. Guys, dude, like, I just want you to understand, like, what Jonathan's saying is what I teach and what I do in wholesaling. And so many people like, well, what, do they know they're making a profit, or are they going to have a problem with it? I'm like, dude, you got to find people that just really need to sell, not want to sell. That's what the realtors deal with, who need to sell. And I'm telling you, amazing things will happen. And if you don't think they're out there, I'm telling you, they're there. You just have to keep looking. Is it easy? No, I never told you it was easy. But if you consistently take the same action over and over and keep doing it, it's boring, it's monotonous, but man, it will pay off for you. I've loved probates. I found them by accident. I like them because they're easy, they're pretty set forth. And when I find someone with motivation on a probate, we literally drop everything in our company because I make $56K per probate. I'm not even going to tell you how many I do a year. It's that much. And that alone almost covers like 35% of my revenue for my company. Think about that. There's just a handful of people. I'm not one of these guys that tells you got to go get 30,000 leads and kill yourself, because if you guys haven't figured out, that's all pie in the sky BS stuff to sell you courses. It doesn't. How much does it cost you to process 30,000 leads? I know what it costs. You will not survive. Anybody comes to Florida with that mantra, they always fail, because it's not an easy. If it was that easy, corporate America would own wholesaling. There's not $1 billion corporation that runs wholesaling. Why? Because it's all localized. It takes tremendous energy to drive and do this. How many hours did you put in that deal, Jonathan, from start to finish? Like talking to people and like dealing with them in actual.
Them specifically, or just this particular campaign?
Just this one.
Oh man. Couple days of conversations. There was a text that he sent me, big long text. I looked up the property, went and saw it, and I said, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they're never going to accept an offer. But I've had problems in the past where I've offered what I think they would take versus what was actually a good offer.
Yeah.
And in this case, I'm like, it was a throwaway deal. I'm like, this is the most I can pay you.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and then I forgot about it. And then it was actually a conversation because his wife got on. Yeah. And she's like, she was the one who was more adamant about it than he was.
And I get that a lot. Sometimes you deal with one party in the transaction, and they're like, they kind of poker face you even though they need to sell. Yeah. And then the other one gets hold of it, like, are you crazy? Take his offer. Like, we need to move on. And that's one of the reasons why, if you have a motivated seller and you've met with them, at some point you should give everybody an offer. Because at one point, I used a technique where I used to mail everybody an offer after we did it. Like, we were just a follow-up, like a week later we'd do it, and then another week we'd send it. And 10% of them would call us to refire the deal back up. I got a little bit different process but I'm just saying, if you guys never make an offer because they never got past the verbal, even if you get a verbal like Jonathan did, submit it. Sometimes the husband will turn it down, but the wife goes, we got to move forward. Like, I haven't paid the mortgage in 4 months. I got no more money left. We got to move. So you want to open up that journey. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey before, like, you used my letter, like good and bad? Like, the reason is, it's not for me. It's so people understand. By the way, guys, I got no problem when you guys hire people for gurus. I'm just trying to save you the pain of the reality of like the guru business. Most of it is, it's super sexy. It's so easy. Follow me. You'll get this done. And then when you get signed out, you find hundreds, if not thousands of people. And you're like, how the heck am I ever going to get like this person's attention to get some help here? So can you help guide us through? Because you've obviously been the majority. I don't, dude, I've paid people. I've already told you that. Like, I just find for beginning wholesaling is the most convoluted like mind field you have to go through. And I don't understand why it's this bad. Because you know why? It's because you guys keep giving them your money. So I want to create an outlet where you guys can actually have success, make your first 100 grand, and then you can decide how you want. Because scaling a business is a huge financial commitment. It is, guys, I've done it. Dude, I ran 15 employees in this business, and I hated it. I hated it. I had no freedom, which is why I got in this business. And then I was doing so many meetings, and then I was working 6, 7 days a week. And I remember talking to my accountant. He goes, "You don't look happy." I go, "I'm not." He goes, "Well, cut the shit out." I'm like, it took 2 years to unwind it. And I did. And I just went back. And then when I taught my son the business, I go, I don't want to get, like, I enjoy just flipping the houses. I make plenty of money. I don't need any of those crap. In 2013, I saw what was going on in the coaching community. I'm like, man, you should have saw the stuff being told to me, guys. Like, I can't even repeat it on air. Like, it's like there's a certain cult of like coaching that goes on, and you're not getting the truth in any of it. To be honest with you, they're all coached on how to get as much money from you guys as humanly possible and drag the income on forever. They want to constantly have you guys keep paying 3, 5, 10 grand to find out more information and more information and more information. And I told them all, you're crazy. It's the stupidest business model I've ever heard. So you guys see what I'm doing now? None of them talk to me, and I'm okay with it. I don't care. Everyone's a big boy, but like, I'm here for you guys. I'm not here to be friends with the coaches. So I don't speak on stages. I don't do any of that because I don't have anything to sell. So why bring me on? If you can't financially benefit from me, why not? I give everything I can back to you guys. And so, Jonathan, if you can share any of your journey beforehand on some of the frustrations like you've had, your successes, like how long have you been doing this in total?
Yeah, so my dad actually got me into the business. He did a few deals, well, quite a few deals early on. He's military, but he would do this on the side.
Smart man.
Yeah, got me into it. After high school, I did dual enrollment, so that's a couple years of college under my belt. I was just
there you go.
out.
And guys, if any of you are on here and you're at that age and do that. My son did it. My daughter did it. Get a head start. And a lot of times your state will pick up your education while you're in college doing that. And then when you get to college, you can bang it out in like 2 years. Yeah. So that's a great example. That gives you a 2-year head start. So if I taught you how to make 100 grand, 2 years, that's $200,000 in your pocket. Plus you don't have any of those ridiculous student loans we're all talking about. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So just always was entrepreneurship. I loved entrepreneurship. Always an entrepreneur at heart. This business was really tough getting into. It was very much into the fire. He put me on the phones. He sent me to look at properties, doing driving for dollars, and then he got another contract with military, so he wasn't as available during the day. So it was just me sitting in an office having to figure some of it out. Anyway, a couple years ago, we parted ways. He said, "I've taught you as much as I can. Go off, do your own thing." I'm doing that now. And it was rough early on. I'll be honest. I was going after high equity vacants out of state, thousands of leads, cold calling. I had a cold calling thing set up with Mojo and then Call Tools. It was just exhausting. Lots of no's, lots of frustrated people. It's just landlords and vacation homeowners. That was all I was talking to. So couple months ago, beginning of this year, I really wanted to focus on probates. Started pulling the very specific probates within an area. Built an entire offer, like Google Earth the picture of the property, pulled the comps, estimated stuff, sent them an actual offer in the mail with a contract. Didn't work. It was too tedious. Found your letter. Started figuring out stuff with the county. I'm in Hillsborough, so it's a pretty competitive area.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, there's deals everywhere. So pulled about 1,200 probate leads. Called them first through Call Tools, had them skip trace, called them. Those that didn't pick up, I sent them your letter. And then, just got a few. The few calls I got back were either explaining the situation, thank you for the letter. They were listing leads because I'm licensed as well, which, I mean, again, 3,000 or 4,000 on a sale versus 20, 30, it's kind of a waste of time, it seems. So far I've got that one. I've got another closing in about 3 weeks from the cold calling, which that'll be about 27. I have a few questions for you, and a lot of them are very specific, but I don't want to. I know you got other people to get to, so I don't want to spend too much time.
Let's do this. If you, I will be on Monday night. If you jump on there, I'll be happy to help them because I get a little bit more time.
Sure.
I got a couple more people I got to help out here. But dude, guys, how old are you, Jonathan?
26.
Okay. So he's doing an amazing job. you're doing exactly what I teach in probates. He he taught you how to basically cold call them and how to mail them. And honestly, if you just do that, it works really well. If you want to do the sticky note and like really ramp it up, and you got the ability to do it, it works well. And then I provide you that template letter in freewholesaling.com. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I just ask you guys change the letter up a little bit so we're all not sending out the same letter, because that's my biggest fear with it. And if I see that, I will take the letter down, because I was so effective in my local market. Every realtor, every investor copied me, and I had to stop it for a while. So now I've got 7 different variations, and I rotate them, and but they work very well. So, dude, keep doing what you're doing, man. Like you have so much stuff in front of you. Like, it's an amazing. And make sure you thank your father for the for him getting you in this business. So I love it. Let's talk Monday, and I'll update you. I'll answer all those questions. Okay.
Awesome. I'll see you then.
Okay. Thanks, man. Okay, Kia, you there? Kia.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how you doing? I didn't forget about you. Relax.
Okay, great. I'm sorry. I was on the phone with a seller actually.
Awesome. Awesome. So what can I help you out with?
Okay, so I talked to Zach before, but I never talked to you, and I just want to say thank you for everything that you do.
No problem. I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're awesome.
Okay.
So I've been going after probates off and on for about a year now, and I came across your letter, and I sent out my first mail campaign a few months ago.
Okay.
And I've been getting callbacks from sellers, and I've also been following up with calls.
Awesome.
Yes. So my question is, I'm sorry, I have a few of them.
Let's go. Come
Okay,
on. I'm in 2 hours here. I want to
I
help
know.
people out. Let's
Yes,
go.
when you're going under contract, do you have to, does each heir have to sign in a separate contract, or do they all sign one contract?
So technically, sometimes states' laws are a little bit different, but the personal representative or the executor should sign the contract. It makes it valid. If you want to put the heirs on it, it makes it even more airtight. And at the closing, the personal representative and all the heirs have to sign the deed and the closing documents. So initially, you only have to have the executor of the will sign it, but I've had them all sign it. Sometimes you get validity having everybody sign, and they all think they're committed, but it's not required. But I've had people change their mind, unfortunately. So the executor signs the contract, and then the heirs have to talk to the title company, and then stay in touch with your title company, because if they can't get a hold of the heirs and like a week or two's gone by, and say you're trying to close it in 30 days, that could be problematic, and you have to get involved to help chase those people down.
Okay, I understand. All right, so I'll
Okay.
make this quick. My next question is, so I have a probate lead that is also in pre-foreclosure,
Okay.
and the auction date is set for October 4th.
It's coming fast.
Yes. Do you think it's worth going after, or how,
Do you have a signed contract already?
I do not have a signed contract. One of the heirs has the keys to the property, and she doesn't want to show it. She's posing challenges.
Why would she post challenge? She's getting ready to lose it to an auction.
Yeah, it's set for October 4th, and they just got her to sign the actual application to initiate the probate process. So it's not even.
Is there any equity left in the deal? Like, do you know how much she owes against it?
I haven't gotten that far in my
Yeah.
research yet.
So you can listen. If you don't know how to do it, go over to your title company you work with, or call them and ask them just to kind of run some numbers. And sometimes they owe $200,000 against a property that's only worth like $150. I wouldn't even waste your time. If they're already fighting you and stuff like that, they're within 30 days. The odds are slim you're going to put a deal together. But every now and then, like say it's a $200,000 house, and it was like a little $50,000 mortgage, then that would be one I would pull out all the stops. But you do have to have a cooperative seller, and if you don't have a cooperative seller that's motivated, there's nothing you can do.
Okay.
And honestly, when it gets within 30 days of an auction, it is hard to stop that auction.
Okay.
It takes like an incredible attorney to like write letters and orders, and all that stuff costs money.
As I understand. Okay.
So I would say it's a very low probability, but run it by your title company and see. They can open up the foreclosure. You can technically do it too. You can search their name in the court case, and you'll see how much the bank's asking for, and then look at the value of the property and see if it even makes sense.
Okay, so here in Georgia, we work with attorneys for title companies. So,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure they're going to charge for a fee like that. Do you recommend I call like maybe the actual mortgage company to get that information?
They won't give it to you. I guarantee you. So just pull up the court records. Like
Pull
you
up
can go in and do a search, get the seller's last name and put in there. It's anything with foreclosure is extreme public record. You don't have to pay anyone to do this. Odds are it's probably not going to be the deal. So do your due diligence just to see. Every now and then one comes across and they got $100,000 sitting in it. I'm like, because when they go to auction, they're not going to get much. They might get some money on the back end, but they're going to get hammered. So,
Okay.
but odds are they're against you. You probably got about a 10-15% probability of that making it work, in my
Okay.
experience. Okay.
Okay. Thank
But don't discount it. Take a look at it. If you don't have to get in a car or drive anywhere, you can sit in the comfort of your home and look on a computer. It's a great exercise for you to learn. It's not worth hiring an attorney for that.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Okay, Kia, I appreciate it, guys. That about wraps it up. So do me a favor, go and make sure you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel, Rick Ginn. Make sure you subscribe to Zach's. We release exclusive content on each channel, and I want to be able to share it with you guys, and that way you guys can decipher the information. You get it from the young guy, you get it from the old guy, whatever you want. I hope the probates was helpful. Guys, a lot of you are having massive success with probates. The ones that are doing it, they're going out and getting it. You are no different than me or any of those people that come on this show. I want you guys to be successful. Go over to freewholesaling.com. Go ahead and get registered there. There's no fees for anything, and happy to help you in this business. Zach will be on Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, right about when I go to bed. And then I'll be back on Monday. And guys, anytime you want to connect on Facebook on Wholesaling Houses for Real, we're always there. Any of our YouTube channels, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Go out. Guys, call those sellers. Do not wait. Go ahead and get it done. And I'm telling you, a deal's waiting around.